Come on, boy. Come on. Hey, buddy. Oh, yes, you sweet little thing. Ugh, my pounding head. That's on you. See, I was smart last night. I took a break between my drinking. I still have some from last night, too. I still have some left over. What the fuck is this? What the fuck? Okay. Someone turned on the sun. It's a little too bright. No. Nah, I don't think anyone's gonna do that. Unless you have a cloud. Then the clouds might help you with that. But around here, that's what I have. Still have half a bottle. Don't even bother open that. Don't. I mean, I still have my unopened seltzer that I have from last night. Which, if I want, I can open later tonight. And then, I still have, like, a little bit of that mixed drink I didn't finish last night. So, that's in my room. I think I'm going to keep that in there for right now. Maybe later. Oh, but... figure out. Get up before morning, break some shit down. You look like you're still tired. I mean, a little bit. I mean, if anything, for some reason, I woke up fucking grumpy. Like, I woke up, was kind of like partially grumped out a little bit for some reason or another. I don't even know why. And then I was like, alright, well, whatever. So, then yeah, okay, yeah, I'm still waking up. But, yeah, then I got some peanuts to go feed, like, some of the squirrels and stuff out there. And the bag, because it's shitty plastic, and plastic is gay and fucking garbage, and, you know, it just decided to, like, I open it up, you know, from the top, and as I'm, like, holding the bag, it just collapses on itself. Like, I literally am not shitting you not, like, the bag just rips apart, nuts everywhere, like, and that pissed me off. Then fucking Zukov ran off, you know, while I was outside. So he went somewhere. That pissed me off even further. So, like, honestly, I'm, like, in a bit of a grump more than tired. Frustratingly grump and tired because of fucking the fact that happened with Cheez-Its. Well, like, the bag itself, you would think, would be sturdy enough because obviously it's holding all the fucking, like, peanuts, right? You open it up, no, you've, like, now broken the seal. Thus, like, the rest of the fibers of the bag are, like, basically the equivalent of pieces of paper. So just, like, it literally split down the middle and nuts just, like a waterfall, just, like, fell everywhere. Luckily, I was outside, so they all just fell on the ground, like they were going to go to anyway. Like, I was going to, you know, toss them off in the ground, have a few platforms I put the nuts on and shit. And, yeah, but still, it's just like, god damn it, I was going to set them all in their little spots and shit. Now they're just literally everywhere. Like, everywhere where they're not usually going. Hey, all the plastic we use in foodstuffs, know where we all have microplastics in us. Yeah. Like, I had a fucking, I told about it the other day, but there's, like, a Karen I mean, the reason why is because she honestly was kind of being a little bit unreasonable about it, where she didn't want me using plastic bags for meats that we cut the meats up in, and yeah, like these fucking bags, because this is what we used to cut our meats up and put them in there. And she didn't want that, but that's all we have. Like, those are the only bags that we use to put the meats in. And she wanted us to use like butchers like fucking like paper bags and shit, but we just don't have those. Those aren't sent to us. And she was kind of having a little bit of a mini freak out, being like, "Oh, this plastic and everything is gonna be the death of us." Like talking to me like I have an ability to fix shit. Like I have the ability to like just talk to the company manager and like the CEO and just be like, "Hey, can you stop using plastic, please? Cool, thanks." It's just like she's getting at me like I am somehow like the ability to try to fix this shit, and it's just like, no, sorry. Like, I mean, I'm literally just the person that helps serve customers and make sure the dough is clean up at the end of the night. I mean, it's just like, I'm sorry, I can't help you if something has plastic or not. Like, it's not that I don't agree, because I certainly do, but I just can't fucking like do anything about it. Like, sorry. Like, I mean, it's not that I can't do it's not like I, don't want to do shit. Like, I would prefer to, use something different than plastic bags and shit, but it ain't my fucking choice. Hey, if I was CEO of a fucking company and shit, and CEO of the store, hey, things would be ran a little differently, lady, but unfortunately, not how it works. Some place down here have butcher paper to wrap stuff in. Yeah, which I think would be fine. Like, like, cause, like, I know what she's talking about. It's like a little butcher paper. It's like similar to those bags. I mean, it's like butcher paper basically, where you tape it over and it keeps it sealed. It's like, it's similar. I mean, so it's like, I know what she was talking about, knew what it is, but still, it's just, if we don't have, like a substitute outside of just plastic shit, sorry. It's not that it's like, I don't want it either. I mean, also, it's just like, I mean, it's like, if we have microplastics in us, I doubt it's because of these. Like, I doubt it's because you have food in a bag like that. I think it's because of other shit, like microplastics in water, and like the animals that we eat, and the vegetables that we eat, and the food. Like, it's literally everything else. Like, it's not gonna be because you put food in a plastic bag or something. It's the fact that these plastics get broken down in the environment once they are in the environment so much, to the point they become like these more micro-sized pieces instead of these bigger pieces like bags or some shit, and thus get into our system. I mean, it's not just micro, but macro too. Like, there's already been macroplastics, seen in wildlife, especially in the fucking oceans, even with more smaller forms of life like shrimp. So, like, plastics are just a part of, like, biology now at this rate, whether we want it or not. Can't wait to see what the studies and the research is on that. Missouri's going to legalize weed. Almost makes me wish I had to stay there instead of moving to Alabama. I mean, I suppose as a way to kind of help, your own situation, moving to Missouri might help, in the short term. Like, at least because it would be a little cheaper. I mean, it wouldn't be that far away from Alabama either. So you can at least still deal with some other last second bullshit, while being there. Like that fucking rent-a-place Xbox shit, which I hate rent-a-dealers. Those places are horrible. Obviously, I had no choice in that, but still, it's their shit. Oh, honestly, there's some YouTube shorts. I haven't been to Missouri in 20 years, lol. I haven't been in that place for over 20 years, and you're telling me that you should go back there? Fuck you. Here, Here, I actually want to show these YouTube shorts because they're actually kind of funny. Because this is how I feel sometimes.
It's $9.50.
Jeez, that's steep.
I didn't create the price.
I know all your sneaky pricing strategies. How you overpriced your medium popcorn so you make us think the large is a good deal.
I make minimum wage here. I didn't have anything to do with the popcorn inflation rate, and honestly, I don't give a shit.
You intentionally price popcorn
It's a
super
bag
high,
of
so when it's
popcorn,
bundled
it's
with
not
something
that
else,
deep.
it's a big deal.
Look, lady, why don't you just go buy your candy at Target and sneak it in like everyone else? Leave me and my dying soul alone.
You intentionally price popcorn.
Leave me and my dying soul alone. Dude, I love this guy. He's another one of these like dudes that makes kind of like working class bits of humor and shit. Dustin Sternmeyer. This dude's hilarious. He has a part 2 of it as well.
Popcorn.
It's still $9.50.
Still not
That's
filthy.
steep.
The economy and stuff, yeah.
I know
Yeah.
all your sneaky pricing strategies.
This is
How
the
you
third
overpriced
time
your
this
medium
week.
popcorn
Leave
so you
the
make us
f-
think the large is a good deal.
Let me call my manager, Harold. Oh, wait. He didn't create the price of popcorn either.
You intentionally price popcorn super high.
Look, lady, for the last time, I don't care that you think it's expensive. Now go buy your candy at Dollar Tree. I used to suggest
Just Target.
Then people came in and started complaining to me that their candy was too expensive.
Pricing strategies. How you overprice
I quit
your
again.
medium
I
popcorn
quit.
so you make
Again.
us think the
I quit again. Oh my god. No wonder there's such high turnover rate. Look what we have to deal with. Minimum wage, and we have to deal with Karens. Yeah, wonder why we have high turnover rate, why we don't give a fuck. But yeah, Dustin's actually pretty fucking hilarious. Because it's like, his way of doing it is just more of the, at least especially with that bit of comedy, it's just like, I'm literally the soul-crushed worker and don't give a fuck anymore. And that's my life. But everyone can feel that. At least most people. So any new Ricky shorts? Ricky and the breadstick. Well, how did I... What is that full channel name? Breadstick Ricky, I think. Yeah. Because I think there was... It wasn't like a short, but I think he did upload something. Trades people are in high demand. That was a longer video.
Washing fucking Defender off, you know, same old shit. It's always dirty. Always got to spray it off again. But it amazes me to the fact that people will message me and ask me, who's hiring? Where can I get a job at? Homeboy, it is the 21st century. Open your eyes. Every business on every corner in America pretty much has a now hiring sign. Look,
There's kind of a reason for it, though.
you want some hiring tips and where to find a job? Let me tell you right now, okay? First off, just look. Go talk to somebody. Union Hall, contractor's office. Walk through the door.
I like how he actually mentioned Union Hall first. Okay.
Get an application. It ain't hard, okay? If your eyes are open, you're gonna find a job, okay? And
I mean, honestly, he really isn't wrong. He's keeping the, like, anti-cap type of talking points out of it a little bit, but he actually ain't wrong. I mean, I think it's partly because of some of the places he mentioned where to look. He mentioned in Union Hall, and he mentioned online, which is definitely a place to look, or just literally walking into a place. I mean, honestly, I definitely would say Union Hall is probably, one of the first bets I'd try, if at least looking online isn't really being fruitful, just because chances are there's always at least going to be some place that those halls are going to, when it comes to like the union shops that they have, there's always a chance that, one of their shops probably needs a few people. So going to a hall, to the union hall and shit is actually a really good idea. Because, if there's not one maybe like immediately, that you can see, going to union hall will be like, oh, well, hey, we do happen to have a spot here, that happens to be near your area or some shit. Just because it doesn't happen to say now hiring right in front of the sign or right in front of the store or whatever. But also, I mean, there is kind of a little caveat to every place having a now hiring sign. It's because the wages are shit. Usually it's because wages are shit and the benefits aren't good, and that's why people don't want to work there. I mean, it's like, I mean, honestly, if anything, I imagine he's probably saying these tips as a way of like, hey, you're the one who has kind of the ability to let that job be good or not, in a sense. And like when it comes to that, because if you're just like, well, I'll just take it and whatever they give me is what I get, then yeah, they're going to exploit the fuck out of you. But if you go in there being like, I want to make sure I at least have like these basic standards in place, they're either going to just tell you to fuck off because they don't want to give you that. Or if they really need people, they'll probably try to work with you at least a little bit. They'll still give you a reach around and try to fuck with you still because they're management. They're, CEOs. But nonetheless, they'll probably be a little bit more willing to work. At least work with you on that.
Me personally, I got fired a lot, and I was dismissed multiple times from multiple different places, okay? They just didn't fit me. I didn't like it. It's okay to go work a job, not enjoy it, and leave that motherfucker and go somewhere else. It's normal.
I mean, yeah, honestly. I mean, he ain't wrong there.
But what's not normal is acting like there ain't nothing out there. And before anybody gets on here and says, well, I've been applying at places and I've been going, but the interviews hadn't been going good. Homie, do you know how many people have come up to me in the office in basketball shorts and flip-flops and told me they were like, I'm a top-notch welder? I'm like, okay, well, do you have anything to prove that? Well, you hire me on, I'll show you. No, I'm not paying you top-notch welders pay and you're standing here in flip-flops. I'm hiring a top-notch welder that walked in a pearl snap starch jeans and he's got his fucking hood under his arm. Alright, you ain't even got a piece of paper or a picture with you in it to show me you can weld. You're not going to get hired. If you want to be a part of a crew, dress like it and act like it when you go to see if you can be on the crew. Okay, presentation is like 90% when it comes to an interview. You can be a dumb son of a bitch, but if you look the part, you're going to get a lot better odds to get that job. Yeah.
Possibly. Like, honestly, that is, he's actually not even really wrong there. If you at least, like, look the part a little bit of, like, getting to a place, so, like, because let's say you are, like, that top-notch welder, but you literally are showing up in flip-flops and shorts, and don't really show anything to show that you really are legit probably not going to get that job. Like, I mean, it's not impossible. I mean, you could, and you probably can, but it's going to be more harder because they're going to look at you and be like, you, a welder, you're wearing fucking flip-flops to this. It's just like, what? They're going to think a little confused.
A big fucking obstacle for a lot of people. Like, I live in a very small town. Very small. It's hard for me to find jobs.
I think it's bullshit to a degree. I know a guy who's a good mechanic just like a hobo. I do think it is bullshit to a degree. I mean, unfortunately, I guess it is the truth of how, companies do, view people when they're trying to get a job, though. So, unfortunately, I guess the sad but truth is it does play a role. Because when I was going to my interview, when I got the job I'm at now, like, I just basically wore, nice jeans and then a button-up shirt, and that was pretty much about it. Like, which, looks the part enough, to what, people, at least especially at the time, were wearing. So, and also, it's retail. Like, you can pretty much wear whatever the fuck you want in retail, and no one's gonna give a shit. Like, same thing with fast food. Like, there's, because when it comes to presentation and what you're wearing, I do think it is a little. I mean, when I'm like, how like my addendum to what he was talking about, I think is a little bullshit too. I don't think it's necessarily the fault of maybe the person doing the interview itself or the job in itself, but just how the culture of getting these type of jobs and like the culture of like standard that comes into this type of shit. The dude has a lot of visible tattoos and kept him from signing on with a lot of local mechanic shops. Fortunately, he came from a well family, was started his own shop. Well, that's some good shit. Yeah, I mean, when you have, like, I mean, that's kind of another thing, too. It's like if you're somebody who has a trade and a skill, and even if you, are able to, even if you're not from, like, a well-off, family or well-off yourself, but able to at least work up enough to start your own little shop, even if it's tiny at the start of it, I mean, you can eventually, get you something, get your own gig going on and actually make, a business workplace in a shop, in a mechanic shop fit to how you, specifically would like it. And thus, make it a little bit more better for anyone else that could potentially be working there too. Because if you have all these ridiculous, stupid rules like, oh, you can't have tattoos or some shit, you're cutting off a large chunk of people that are probably badass fucking, workers and shit when it comes to the job that they want. I mean, and luckily, I think today, especially consideration, 24th century, it's just like, luckily people don't really give as much of a shit about tattoos and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, I would say it depends on the tat, but most people, like 99% of tattoos don't give a fuck. Like, again, unless it's like something more like offensive or controversial or like, adult themed or something, like you got a naked lady on your arm or something. But if you're in like a trade, like a mechanic or a fucking construction worker, it's almost like I'd be shocked if they don't have like a naked lady on their arm for a tat. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like shit. It's like, for fuck's sake. Like, I do think presentation, is a little bullshit. I mean, look at like some scientists and like some office workers sometimes, because I mean, some of them don't, like, because a lot of their type of jobs don't really have that much of a dress code, or at least that much of like a code, so to speak, when it comes to, like how your presentation is, because you're not like in front of customer service or, in front of the public all the time. So if you have like a mohawk or like have a bunch of tattoos all over you or piercings all over you, no one's really going to give a shit. And there's no real rule to that. And honestly, I think as long as it's not like impeding on the job itself or a sanitization issue, I don't really give a fuck if someone has tats or piercings or whatever the fuck. Or wearing fascist tats. And unfortunately, at least for some of them, they're kind of hard to, point out. So it's like, because a lot of them are also like Nordic runes and shit too. So, because I've met people who aren't like Nazis or far-right fascist types, but will have like, runes on them, rune tattoos and other different types of tattoos. And of course, some of those tats are going to be like Nordic runes and shit. But, the people that have them are, far-right fascist types. They just happen to have tats that can also, be tied into those fucking people too. So, it's like, I do too, but it's also kind of hard to pinpoint whether somebody is or not, just because they might have something that can be tangentially related to it. I mean, shit, like, I definitely want some tattoos that are like Nordic runes, like on my arm and shit, but like, that can easily be misconstrued as like me being some sort of like right-wing fasci type or some shit, even though like I absolutely detest and would literally beat the fuck out of those motherfuckers with a bat. So it's just like, I detest that shit, but people can misconstrue it just because I have a fascination with like Nordic runes and stuff. I know a Norwegian exchange student who was heavily into Viking culture and has runic tats all over. See, that's what I mean. It's like, I guarantee you that Norwegian exchange student probably isn't like some far-right, fasci type or some shit. Like, I mean, maybe, but just because of that, probably not, I mean, if he's a Norwegian and happens to be heavily into, Viking culture, probably it makes sense considering, well, he's born and raised where that is very predominant. Well, was very predominant. I mean, Vikings aren't really a thing anymore, but a lot of leftovers of their culture are still around. I'm going to have to get a hammer and sickle tap, but I don't want to make myself identifiable while in the South. Well, do somewhere where it's a little, like, hidden or something. Do somewhere where nobody won't really see it as often. Unless you have, like, a tank top or some shit. See what else is in this video here.
And shit like that. I understand that, okay? I live in a little bitty town. There's not a lot happening around here, so I do have to travel to go on bigger, better paying jobs. It's normal. But it's the 21st century. Just get on your phone and start looking for jobs. There's gazillions of apps. Okay, look, I use Boom Nation. I get on there, I look for jobs in the area, I reach out to them, see if they're still hiring, see what they're paying, stuff like that. It's all on there. But they're... All right, guys, speed round. But there's
no speed round.
There's so many places. You get on Facebook, like roaddogs.com. There's apps like Boom Nation. There's so many things you can do to find the jobs that you're looking for that will suit you. All you got to do is give a little effort. That's all you got to do. Regardless of what you're messaging me for, I absolutely love hearing from every single one of you. Okay. If you're looking for a job, I'll try and help you find one. If you're just wanting a question answered, I'll do my best. If you just want to talk, that's fine, whatever. I love talking to every single one of y'all that messages me on Facebook. Alright? But at the end of the day, if you're messaging me asking me for help some way, make sure you're ready to help yourself. Because I'm going to give you all the knowledge I got, which ain't much. And you're either going to use it or you're not. At the end of the day, you're the one that has to help yourself. I'm not going to be able to help you and do everything for you. So if you are looking for a job, you can find one if you look hard enough. And honestly, you ain't got to really look that hard anymore. People need blue-collar tradesmen like us. We are a dime breed.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely why I heavily respect blue-collar trades and shit. But, yeah. I mean, honestly, it definitely isn't, like too difficult, especially, like, some of the more earlier, like, levels of it. Like, my friend did a little bit of early welding before he worked at Bob's Red Mill. And the only reason why he didn't keep up that job was because, like, basically they weren't giving him any real work. Like, they were basically just like, all right, you know, you're going to be like the janitor essentially, and, you know, kind of clean the place up a little bit, and maybe, you know, do some jobs here and there, welding some shit, but that was pretty much about it, and essentially laid him off after a while. Because he initially was wanting to get into shit like that, but just never really worked out. Which is, you know, kind of part of the problem. It's like, you know, is a lot of these places, like you were saying earlier, I mean, you get laid off or get fired pretty frequently, and especially in these type of trades and shit, so you just have to kind of keep pushing. Just gotta put the effort in. At least when it comes to that type of shit. Well, I know a guy who has the role of Hundies unrolling tatted on his taints. When I was there when he got it, and he screamed like a girl. Oh my god. I'm not actually too surprised with that. My bud dealer likes to scrap after tornadoes to go through. It can make $400 or $500 in an afternoon on the metal market. Damn. Definitely make a pretty decent amount, you know, probably doing that. I mean, I definitely don't really necessarily see anything wrong with it, considering it's just like, well, if a tornado goes through and there's a bunch of scrap and debris everywhere, you might as well, you know, do your part and pick it up, you know, clean up the area after it's been all fucking hit with a tornado, you know. And if you get a little compensation out of it, selling that scrap, then hey, you know, everyone wins. Except it's hard work, but it's worth it. Well, of course. I mean, especially for something like that. I mean, that's the part. I mean, he's, you know, and, you know, like indirectly or directly. I mean, either way, like he's helping with the cleanup. He's helping, you know, getting the area cleaned up a little bit by bit. You know, just, you know, so it's not so fucked up, you know, because of a tornado hitting. So, still, some good shit. Oh my god, dude, fucking Texas. Texas judge rules felons can buy guns. Yeah, because that's a fucking smart idea. That's a smart fucking idea. I think Ripsy was telling me about that the other night. That's totally smart. Yeah, let's just have, like, you know, a bunch of criminal gangster felon thugs, you know, have a bunch of guns and shit. Well, there are gonna be criminals breaking the law anyway, so see, gun laws don't work, so fuck it. Who needs those? Like, Jesus Christ. Like, yeah, it's like, even me being as pro-gun as I am, it's like, even I understand that, yeah, if you're a felon, you probably don't get to have a gun anymore. You know, that'd just be me. I tend to be okay with that type of consensus. He has felonies for weed. Why not let him have a gun? I mean, it's like, I don't, have a problem with going for a procedure when it comes to maybe having one, depending on what the felony is. But you would have to go through some, hoops to do that. And it would be strict as fuck. Because, I mean, like, a lot of, felonies tend to usually, not necessarily be gun-related, but tend to have, relation towards, some form of violence or criminality where there is, a victim at play. Which would imply that if that said person would have a gun, would mean that they could potentially do worse to said victims of potential crimes. If they were to repeat. I mean, like, when it comes to, like, non-violent drug offenses and shit, like, I don't even think that should even be a fucking thing anyway. So whether there's felonies for that or not, that shouldn't even really be the case. So if there's, like, felonies over fucking weed or some shit, to me, that shouldn't even be a thing. So that, as far as I'm concerned, wouldn't even really count. Because that should be pardoned. Like, that shouldn't even exist. So if you got a buddy that has felonies for weed offenses, I mean, then I'd say those are bullshit felonies. Or you can get guns rights back based on what felony. If it was a non-violent drug, I think you should get the rights back. Well, yeah, because honestly, if it's not a violent drug offense, I don't even think it should be a thing. I don't even, it's like those type of, because when it comes to non-violent drug offenses, I don't see anything criminal about that. I mean, just for non-violent offenses in general, really. Like, I would say that, like, when it comes to felonies, anything that's non-violent, you get a procedure to potentially get the rights back on owning a firearm and having that right. But for violent offenses, you don't. Like, that's essentially just kind of how I really fundamentally feel about it. I mean, because honestly, there are definitely a lot of non-violent felony offenses that aren't, like, drug-related and shit like that are probably meritable to keep as felonies, but, just because someone may have that as a charge doesn't necessarily mean they're at risk because they own a gun. Either through themselves or other people. I mean, you'd still have to go for a process, and shit, like, like we're saying, but nonetheless, I mean, I'd still think, depending on what it is, I mean, you would have to go for the extra shit, take longer to, get the firearm, but nonetheless, as long as you pass and everything's fine, sure. And the thing is, we already have those processes in the U.S. for the most part. Like, it varies from state to state, and I think some states, probably don't have those laws and shit, or those type of procedures, because they have the extra restrictions, but, like, those are, like, things that are kind of around in the U.S., depending. I think Oregon does. I think Oregon has some procedures and laws about, like, how you could potentially get the rights back on a firearm again. You have to go, it takes like 6+ fucking months to go through and shit, but nonetheless. Another thing I find to be bullshit is restricting people from getting housing because of felonies. I think that is honestly insane. Like, because we basically, because honestly, having a felony essentially treats you as a lesser class citizen. I mean, maybe not full on, like, second class, but you're essentially a lesser, class of citizen because of it. You're like a subclass at that point. I mean, because frankly, like, anyone who is in a capital owner, top 10%, or a rich fuck at any metric is, pretty much, a lesser class of the citizenry in this country, but that's just another point for another day, I guess. Or restricting basic job opportunities. I understand you not getting an advanced job, but stop me from working at Subway. I mean, even then, like, I mean, what would it mean by, like, advanced job? Like, at that point, like a blue-collar trade type of thing, like a welder or some shit, or, like, something like the IT tech industry or whatever the fuck. I mean, I wouldn't restrict someone just because they had a felony and shit. I mean, because at the end of the day, I'm more based on rehabilitation when it comes to our criminal system. Just because someone has a felony or a criminal background and shit doesn't mean they shouldn't be restricted from having a job that they can legit do pretty good in. I suppose, like, advanced job in, like, maybe a teacher or some shit, sure. Like a computer tech job or something where you command other people. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I suppose. But I guess also it just kind of depends on the felony too. If it's like a non-violent or victimless felony crime, I mean, I just don't really have too much of an issue for it. I guess unless it's like hacking, then then you don't get to be in any tech industry. If you're like a known hacker that like is, has some felonies, doing some like hacking, stealing money from a company or some shit, then yeah, you don't get to work in IT. But but just because of that, hey, you could still be a welder, you could still be a machinist or something, you could do anything else, just nothing in the IT industry. Nothing with computers. At least very minimal. Because obviously, depending on what it is, I think it's, understandable to probably prohibit somebody from being in certain parts of society because of that. Like, oh, known hacker that hacked into banks before, don't let him work in banking industry or, computer and IT industries and shit. Oh, someone's a known violent offender? Alright, make sure that person isn't around guns or anything that can harm people. Ignore, I've known some former hackers the government and corporations have swooped in and hired because they're known hackers. Touche. You know what? Touche. It's like... it's like these hackers and, like these lone wolf hackers and shit, become known a little bit. And government's like, hey, what's up there, hacker? This hacker's like, oh shit, you gonna arrest me? It's like, no, well, maybe. But... we won't if you take our job offer. And the company's like, hey, we won't write you to the government if you take our job offer. It's like, we won't put any, legal penalties or anything like that to you because, hey, we like you. It's like, we like the cut of your jib there, buddy. I mean, honestly, you're kind of right. I guess it just kind of depends on what the hacker does. Like, if they're, like, kind of, like, doing some actual, like, harm to the U.S. Gov or some shit, then it would probably be likely another government would probably try to hide them. But if it was, like, something else, like, where some dude just, like, hacked into a subway or some shit, and then fucking was just like, oh, hey, the NSA and the FBI, instead of fucking, trying to arrest me, they cut out a deal where it's like, hey, we'll just pretend this never happened. Or brush it out all under the rug. But you have to take our job offer type of thing. I mean, it's basically, if you think about it, just like bribery. It's not even really, like them offering or some shit. It's more or less bribe them. It's like either we can ruin your life or you can have your life, become that much better if you keep your mouth shut and join us. I suppose it's a lucrative deal. I'm supposed to be a good one, but you're getting fucked. Because now you have to do the bidding of that company or that fucking government. And you can't necessarily just quit. So, I mean, sounds like a good deal, but is it? I suppose you really have much of a choice. You just kind of have to, like, fucking deal with it. Just accept it. I keep seeing this recommended to me. This computer nerd kid I used to play CNC with in elementary school grew up to become a hardcore tech nerd hacker, and now he works on a military computer research base in Huntsville for like $50 an hour. Holy shit. Damn. What, did he get offered that, or did he apply to do that? Like, did he, like, because, I mean, that is a pretty nice, good deal right there. Considering he was a major tech nerd, it sounded like he was already into this type of shit, so. I mean, it's kind of another thing, like, some of these hackers / like, tech nerds are already into that type of shit from the get-go, so. In order to basically keep their own personal ventures from being fucked over, potentially, by, like, government agencies and shit like that, I'm sure, taking a job and being like, hey, I'd like to get a job here, going up and offering first, is probably what a lot of them do, too. Because they could just show them their skills and be like, hey, I got the skills to pay the bills, and they're like, oh shit, hell yeah. They hired him right out of college. He probably had a college program. Because when getting your degree in college, I'm pretty sure this is probably for at least most colleges, but at least it was for my community college when I was going there. Basically, it was just like, hey, you know, like, we'll offer, you know, basically immediate job opportunities as soon as you get your degree. And we'll work with either the government or the company that you're going to potentially work for while you're still a student and get, like, apprenticeships and shit like that. After you breach their database, and now he writes the antivirus for them. Same dude who I pay under the table for my antivirus. Probably want to keep that part a little under the table. But, so it wasn't like the whole college, like, degree to job program thing. Like, he just did it on his own time, and just fucked with him, and they came up to him and it's like, what the fuck? We like you. What the fuck, dude? He's been a little sleepy boy. I'll just curled up in a little ball over there. Well, I told this government is always looking for talented hackers for the future cyber war versus China and Russia. I mean, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if some of that cyber warfare is already kind of happening. But, yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised either, frankly. I just would figured that, you know, it would have been more, you know, just like any other typical program when it comes to, like, getting a job, you know, for the government in that way. Where it's just masquerade with, like, this very flowery rhetoric of, like, oh, you could be, like, a cyber defense expert specialist or some shit. Or whatever the fuck. What the fuck? I'm getting a call from my buddy from work. Why is he calling me? He's trying to tell me to come in or something, because I really don't want to. I also have some errands to do. Just doing this for a little bit. Honestly, Friday or Saturday would be better. Honestly, Friday. Because the Saturday I can go out shooting this weekend. Yay. Ugh. Oh god, I think I know why I'm getting that call. Oh god, I know why. One, the closer's called in. That's what happened. Fuck. On top of that, there's a new person who's likely the closer. Oh, hey, so actually the new person called out. Okay. So, new girl called out. Any chance to get help for a few hours? Fuck. What the fuck? Tonight, like, today is honestly one of the days that doesn't work, really. You could have, like, said something earlier about that. What the fuck? Boys try to touch my no-nos. I can't help you with that. He doesn't pop in for a minute, and the first thing you were mentioning about him since he has, it's just like, he's trying to touch my no-no square, what the fuck? Why? I don't want him around me anymore. He's trying to hurt me. What are you doing? Oh, I didn't mind. I was drunk. I didn't mind it at all. I was drunk. Yeah. Keep seeing this get recommended to me. That's what it's about. Trump may have incriminated himself during a wild Hannity interview.
You had said on Truth Social a number of times you did declassify.
I did declassify, yes.
Okay. Is there a process? What was your process to declassify?
It doesn't have to be a process, as I understand it. You know, there's different people.
Yeah, he declassified documents with his mind.
Said there doesn't have to be a process, as I understand it. You know, there's different people say different things, but as I understand, there doesn't have to be. If you're the president of the United States, you can declassify just by saying it's declassified, even by thinking about it, because you're sending it to Mar-a-Lago or to wherever you're sending it.
Bruh. Just even thinking about declassifying stuff means it's declassified. Even declassifying things means just merely thinking about it, declassifying it is very tremendous. So when I thought about, sending those classified documents to Mar-a-Lago, they were actually declassified. Bruh. Who the fuck you think you are, a Jedi?
There doesn't have to be a process. There can be a process, but there doesn't have to be. You're the president. You make that decision. So when you send it, it's declassified. I declassified everything.
You just watched Donald Trump
No. There is, actually a process there, buddy. I mean, yeah, the president kind of has to say at the end of the day, but you can't just be nah. Just nah. I just feel this way now, so it is. It's just there's at least a little bit of a procedure that goes along with dealing with shit like that, but I don't know, that's just me.
himself during that interview with Sean Hannity, not because he stupidly claimed that he could declassify documents with his mind. I don't know how he thinks that would work, but just to show you how stupid national security attorneys think that that is, they called it idle fantasy. But the reason why he may have incriminated himself there and why this interview may be used against him is because he made an admission there. So Maggie Haberman of the New York Times explained this via Twitter. The focus is understandably on Trump's claim of mental declassifications from his Hannity interview, but he appeared to indicate he intentionally sent the documents to Mar-a-Lago, which cuts against the "it was an accident" claims. From the transcripts, quote, "If you're the president of the United States, you can declassify just by saying it's declassified, even by thinking about it, because you're sending it to Mar-a-Lago or to wherever you're sending it." In other words, he can no longer claim because of that interview that he just so happened to be in possession of classified materials by accident. Now,
because they're not. Because they never were. Like, I mean, of course he was using it because it, purposely had those there. I mean, if anything, he was going to use it to probably sell it to other governments, probably Russia, Saudi Arabia for sure. If anything, he probably already did with Saudi Arabia. So it's just like, I mean, no one really ever wants to talk about how, like, in bed Trump is with the Saudis. Like, I mean, that's a really big one. Because he's basically just, like, giving everything to them. They basically has been their little bitch.
Here, that it was purposefully, illegally sent to Mar-a-Lago. So, great job, Donald Trump. Now, to make matters worse, on Truth Social, he also tacitly admitted to financial fraud in an effort to presumably make himself look better. That wasn't the case, of course. So he quoted Fox News Digital, which said Trump did not inflate his financial statements as prosecutors had anticipated, but instead undervalued his assets. So,
nah, I didn't overvalue them. I actually undervalued them. It's like I undervalued my assets there, bro. I actually made them more cheaper. It's still financial fraud.
In an effort to make himself look good, pointing out to his followers, see, look, I didn't actually inflate my financial assets. Okay, but in that same sentence it says that you undervalued your assets instead. That's still illegal. What are you doing? I mean, his attorneys have got to be so frustrated with him.
I mean, I don't know why they're still even his attorneys at this point. Like, I just drop him like a fucking, just like a rotten turd, dude. Like, oh my god. Like, he's just admitting, like, shit now. I mean, it's like, this is why, honestly, I never was really on, like, oh, Trump's gonna run again type of shit, because he's gonna try and he's gonna attempt to, but it ain't gonna work. Like, that ain't gonna happen. The big fish now that, everyone should be really thinking and worried about is fucking DeSantis at this point, because he's very much, becoming the new fucking darling of the GOP. Like, I got one of my friends, Rip City, who's just like, oh, he's a little too extreme. I don't think, moderates are gonna, snub their nose and vote for, Biden if that happened again, or blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, are you really sure about that, dude? Because there are a lot of people that I would have considered moderates that thought that don't say gay bill that he did was a good thing. So, it's like, are you sure? Like, he can couch a lot of far-right fascist shit as, like, something that's actually more innocent than it really is. So, like, I don't know. He's a lot more smarter and knows how to fucking, play the game. And, California, like, fuck you, California. I don't know who you are.
Not the...
I ain't getting no call for California, fucking Mao Newsom, son of a bitch, I tell you what.
You can coach. Like, he is constantly putting his foot in his mouth. And honestly, I love to see it. Like, this is stupid. I think he should keep talking. Like, if I were his attorney, I would say, get off of social media. Stop doing interviews. Like, you're very clearly making matters worse for us. You're making our jobs harder. But he won't stop.
Good.
He's uncontrollable, so he's going to continue to make matters worse. And
I kind of am glad that he is, because as far as I'm concerned, I mean, he could be tried for treason and, be ex-UV the state as far as I'm concerned and be totally happy with that. In fact, I would be happy with that. I'd celebrate that.
Enough damage to himself today. Let me just show you the 24 hours that he's had. As CBS News reports, a 3-judge...
Dude, this dude looks like a fucking wrinkled fucking potato, dude. He just, I'm not even that. He almost looks like some weird rotting pumpkin. Like, what the fuck?
Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit agreed to put on hold a lower court's order that kept the subset of sensitive records off limits for the Justice Department to use for investigative purposes, pending the review of the materials by an independent arbiter known as a special master. In its 29-page opinion, the panel said it agreed with the Justice Department that the federal district court in South Florida likely erred in blocking investigators' use of the classified records and then requiring them to submit the sensitive documents to the outside arbiter for review. Now, if you're a Trump supporter, you're probably claiming, well, these judges are just biased because they very clearly rebuked the order from Judge Eileen Cannon, and we'll talk about her in a second here. But you can't actually claim that these judges are biased because 2 of the 3 judges on this panel were appointed by Donald Trump. So...
And honestly, there's been a bunch of different Trump-appointed judges that have gone against his whole weird, election rigging narrative and shit. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to claim that there's, some bias or some shit where even the same people that he himself appointed, are going against him. So...
Them saying that Judge Eileen Cannon erred is what everyone else, what all legal experts were essentially saying in unison. Now, on the subject of Judge Eileen Cannon, as Kyle Cheney of Politico points out, she actually had to backtrack and strike out provisions from her original ruling that stated that the 100 classified documents were exclusively subject to the review of the special master. Now, she did this, remember, after blocking the Justice Department from accessing the documents that were seized at Mar-a-Lago. So now, because of the 11th Circuit Court, the DOJ can again review these these files and continue with their investigation. So this is really bad news for Donald Trump. But the one silver lining, at least politically for him, not necessarily legally, but politically for him, is that his supporters, primarily his sycophants, they don't really seem to care. Because as a poll conducted by Siena College and the New York Times points out here, his support has remained relatively stable, meaning that those who already thought that he was guilty, well, they still hold that view, but more importantly, those who thought that he didn't commit serious crimes haven't changed their minds either. So the prospect of him potentially committing crimes and the FBI raid...
I mean, like, I'm not surprised because they're all a bunch of criminal gangster thugs themselves. Like, they're a bunch of street gangsters and a bunch of wannabe little loser thugs and shit, and that's why. It's like, I mean, they all like to muck up with each other. Like, you know, these street, you know, thugs and these, you know, fucking gangsters all like, you know, in white trash, you know, wannabe mafioso fucks, you know, just all like to, you know, bundle up with each other and shit. We'll also cry and bemoan how, like, black people are in a bunch of gangs and they're all a bunch of thugs, you know, causing crime and drugs to be rampant and all this other random garbage shit. And it's really these motherfuckers that are doing it. With their little crack labs and their meth labs and shit.
Changing their views. So, yeah, not necessarily surprising because this is largely a cult of personality, but still, there's that. So either way, like, I can anticipate many more bombshells. These investigations will continue. And one other thing that I'm certain of is Trump will continue to put his foot in his mouth and possibly self-incriminate even further. And I love to watch this shit show because it's great to see somebody who's a terrible person, who's never been held accountable once in his entire life, finally face a little bit of heat for the potential crimes that he's committed. So I don't know if anything will come of this, but there's a lot of investigations, and where there's smoke, there's fire. So even if he's held minimally accountable for this, even if he's just slapped with a fine, just the mere fact that all of these investigations are inconvenient and they're making him squirm is great. But Donald Trump, please keep on talking because you are doing yourself no favors.
I mean, I wouldn't want to see him get slapped on the wrist or have a little fine or some shit. He definitely deserves way more than that. I mean, this is like all in all, like, he definitely deserves more of the Benito Mussolini treatment. The tour of the country. Because, yeah, that's always a fun time, you know. I mean, you know, it's like, you can't go wrong with having a little tour around the country, you know. The Benito Mussolini version of it. So what other random shits on besides that absurdity, considering ridiculousness that is fucking Trump and shit. Like, I mean, I at the very least, I'd like to see him fucking, you know, at least get a fine at the minimal. But Jesus Christ, him being in prison will at least satisfy me enough. Just enough. Prefer, you know, tried and guilty for treason and, you know, sentenced to execution, but, you know, that's just, you know, I don't think that's gonna happen. One could dream, though. Yeah. Stretch. Little doodle. Look at you, you're so cute. Boop. Oh, look at you, that's so cute. You just look so cute. I'll give you one more. One more little plate. Oh, well, you're gonna have to grab that. You're gonna have to hunt for that one. Fell on the floor somewhere. Bigoted Dems viciously slander Rashida Tlaib for condemning Israeli apartheid. Oh my god. Of course. Really shows how fucking, like, staunch, you know, the fucking Zionistic lobby is when it comes to, especially Republicans and the Democrats, just how bipartisan it is across the board. And if anyone even remotely slightly criticizes, you know, any of the actual, like, fascistic criminal actions that, you know, the Israeli government does, and it's like, no, all this, like, you know, you can't discriminate goes out the water. Time to throw out some of our own, you know, bigot flags out. Couldn't have this, you know, Muslim Indian lady fucking telling, you know, the proper rightful people in the Holy Lands, you know, what is right or wrong. Fuck that shit, I tell you what. Suddenly, like, every fucking Dem becomes that fucking Warhawk motherfucker. But here.
Rashida Tlaib is being attacked by her own Democratic Party colleagues for saying the most benign, innocuous thing ever. It's common sense if you understand the particulars of the situation that she's talking about. But what did she say? Well, this is her quote according to Jerusalem Post. I want you all to know that among progressives, it has become clear that you cannot claim to hold progressive values yet back Israel's apartheid government, said Rashida Tlaib, U.S. Representative for Michigan.
Yeah, like, that's literally true and fucking benign as fuck. Yes.
District during an online advocacy seminar held on Tuesday by Americans for Justice in Palestine Action and co-sponsored by American Muslims for Palestine. She continues, the need to oppose Israel's government apartheid rule is obvious. The path to freedom for Palestine is long and daunting. We must see through to its end. We owe it to not only Palestinians but oppressed people all over the world who understand that our struggles are linked to one another. So I think that what she's saying is common sense. You cannot support a system of apartheid and claim to be a progressive. But Democrats who saw this, they are purposefully misrepresenting what she's saying to, of course, claim that she is anti-Semitic, when in actuality, they are the ones who are bigoted. They are Islamophobic, and they don't believe that Palestinians deserve human rights. So Jerry Nadler, for example, called out Rashida Tlaib, responding to the quote shared by Jerusalem Post, saying, I fundamentally reject the notion that one cannot support Israel's right to exist as a Jewish and democratic state and be a progressive. Now,
I mean, unfortunately, fucking Israel is not a democratic state. Like, it has a veneer of being so, but it's just another fucking dictatorship. That's just you know, mainly fundamentally a fucking puppet for the Christo fascist American war profiteers and shit. So, I mean, give me a fucking break. Like, democratic, yeah, seriously, come on. It's like you have better luck trying to sell me a bridge in fucking Vegas. Christian fascists need Israel for the end times to happen in their religion. Yep, because they believe that's how Jesus will come back, and the holy, you know, land needs to be in totally in control by Israel, which also includes not just Palestine but Lebanon, parts of Syria, and shit like that. So basically, have like a fucking Manifest Destiny style, fucking literal like Hitlerin style fucking like expansion, you know, into these regions, and just utterly, you know, suppress and utterly just genocide the people on the land, you know, to be replaced, you know, with the holy peoples and shit.
A little bit of a switcheroo here. She did not say, I do not support Israel's right to exist. She's just saying, I do not support their system of oppression and apartheid against Palestinians. But he's saying, oh no, you just said that you don't support their right to exist. So, do you remember that viral video? It was from a couple of months ago during Pride, when this guy, this conservative in particular, he walked into a Petco or a PetSmart, and he started to lambast the cashiers there because they had Pride flags displayed at the cash registers. So he said, do you support this? And they said, yes, I support LGBTQ rights. And he responded by saying, oh, so you support pedophilia, basically conflating pedophilia with LGBTQ plus rights. That's effectively what Jerry Nadler is doing right here. She's saying, I do not support apartheid, and he's saying, oh, so you don't support Israel's right to exist. No, that's not what she's saying.
I mean, I sure shit don't, frankly, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it needs to be more of a fucking, like, I mean, it should just be seen as an international territory at this point. Like, or at least, you know, Jerusalem seen as, like, an international city-state, you know, and, you know, like, something like, you know, like how, like, Gibraltar or fucking, you know, like how the Vatican is in a way or some shit. Well, maybe not the Vatican, but, you know, you get the idea, city-state, yeah, at this point. You know, because fucking... like, especially considering, you know, Israel and their actions, like, they're essentially really their whole fundamental premise of the nation state of Israel is the whole Zionistic religious prophecy of the whole Holy Land being owned by the righteous holy peoples of Greater Israel, with the Israelites. Like, that's literally, it was what the whole nation is fundamentally based on and built on, and has been that way ever since it existed. So, no, at least, especially for me, like, I would even go a step further to say, you know, no, like, I mean, like, it should go a step further and say, you know, they don't have the right to exist. I mean, the people can, you know, live there or whatever the fuck and do all that shit all they want, but they have to recognize the rights in the actual, you know, nation state that they're in, instead of the one that they're trying to oppress on everyone else.
Racism and oppression. But Jerry Nadler here is pretending as if that's not...
because all it is just, you know, fucking, I mean, is like just Zionistic colonialism. That's just what it is, like a hyper-modernized, imperialistic colonial expansion. That's just literally is what it is. So, I mean, it's like the fundamental idea to support, you know, the right of that is, you know, and the existence of that, regardless of just it as a governance, is ludicrous, like, honestly, because, I mean... like, you wouldn't be able to have Israel without that, you know, basically being, you know, the premise of how it runs. Because that's how, in its premise of its formation of its existence. Like, just because it happened to be formed after 47 and was seen as, like, a safe haven, you know, for Jews and shit, you know, during World War II, it, you know, doesn't mean that, like, the whole inherent premise, you know, of the fucking backing of it. Because during World War II, they already were having that place as a safe haven. Along with basically every other fucking country in the world. And also, they were allowed to return and, like, return to, like, back to their home countries and shit after the fucking war. So, it's just, like, there's, like, you know, just a lot of other aspects and nuances, you know, just seem to be forgotten when it comes to that element of history and shit. Well, you know what I'm saying is, that's boat nuts, yeah, totally, yeah. What Ignite right here is saying is that he is, in quote, basically saying that he's both nothing. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Everything said here is just that, yeah. It's like, yep, totally. Nailed it. But no, like, I mean, fuck the Nazis. Like, I mean, I was joking, bro. I know. I would assume that my reaction would also be, you know, adding to it, but yeah, okay. But yeah, like, I mean... but no, like, I mean, you know, like, it doesn't mean that, like, you know, because of my position, though, like, you know, Jewish people in themselves are somehow a problem. They're not. I don't give a fuck if someone is or not. It's the fundamental idea and the whole premise of what, you know, these ideas and the philosophy is backed by, and what it is, and the people that perpetrate that. You know, and there's, you know, plenty of people that, you know, who aren't even Jewish whatsoever that do advocate that shit. So I have just as much of a problem with those Zionistic shitbags as much as the ones that happen to also be Jewish, like Netanyahu and shit. So, you know, like, because either way, this fucking hyper-fascistic, apartheid, imperialistic, Zionistic colonialism shit is fucking trash. I don't give a fuck who supports it. Jew or not. I mean, it's like, because them being Jewish is not a problem. I'm totally fine with them being that way, just like anybody else, because that's not, you know, at least to me, not like, you know, an end-all be-all of how they are and who they are. That's what I feel about Ben Shapiro. Same as pretty much how I described, you know, the rest of them. He's a part of that, you know, propaganda commentating machine that, you know, perpetrates this shit. So fuck him. He's a little rat ball. A ball, like, he's literally like a skin soup ball of just rats, just all in a hive mind, you know, just collectively just sucking the energy and the life force out of the earth and out of all of humanity. So, I mean, he's another little shitbag.
continues here, I proudly embrace both of these political positions and identities, even as I have criticized.
See what I mean? Like, it's like, to people like fucking Nadler, it's an identity to be a Zionist and pro-Israel, because the Israeli state is like the identity of the Zionistic hyper fucking religious prophecy of the whole greater Israel Abrahamic belief of how Jesus returns, or I guess for the Jewish people, Jesus finally showing up, or whatever the fuck. Like, whatever the weird fairy tales are and shit, because it's a part of their identity. Like, and that's the problem.
Actions of democratically elected Israeli governments over time. I would happily put my progressive record and credentials up against anyone's. Okay.
Yeah, guess what? It'll be fucking trash. So go fuck yourself, Nadler. Like Jerry Nadler, you fucking little rat. You're another skin suit that's just literally like filled with a hive mind of rats, just fucking, just like sucking the life essence out of everything around it. Like, fuck you.
Wrong and self-defeating for progressive leaders to abide by such an offensive litmus test.
This is one of the few times where a litmus test is good, so fuck off. No wonder you're so butthurt about it, because he failed the litmus test, bitch.
Funny that he's claiming that he's a progressive, more progressive
Jesus went to go get some cigarettes 2,000 years ago and he never came back.
Saying that this is an absurd litmus test. Okay, well, it's only the most basic litmus test ever. It's not even like a progressive litmus test, in my opinion. It's just, are you or are you not a shitty person? Like, do you think that you can be progressive and still be racist? Do you think that you can support oppression and the dispossession of an entire group of people and still be progressive? If the answer is no to that, then the same thing follows here. How can you purport to be progressive while supporting, functionally anyways, despite your criticism, this system of apartheid?
Which is hyper-regressive and super insanely traditionalistic. So it's quite contradictory to the idea of being progressive.
Not just treated as second-class citizens, they are brutalized and displaced from their homes. How can you purport with a straight face to be progressive and support this oppressive system? To be progressive is to object to the oppression of marginalized people, to support the liberation and self-determination of oppressed peoples everywhere. But you can make an exception for Israel? That doesn't make any sense to me. But he's not the only one, because others decided to chime in and attack Rashida Tlaib by, of course, misrepresenting what she said, by attributing an argument to her that she very clearly did not make. Richie Torres, for example, tweeted out, "There's nothing progressive about advocating for the end of Israel as a Jewish state." Yet,
literally, yes, there is. Like, this guy's just saying it loud. It's like, yeah, Israel should be a Jewish theocracy. It should be a Jewish theocratic state. Like, he's not saying the theocratic part, but that's basically what he wants. Like a fucking Jewish ethno state that is like Jewishly theocratic in nature. Like, I mean, that's essentially is what he's advocating for. Like a Naziistic fucking hyper supremacist ethno state, but for Jewish people and their religion and their cultural views. Which, yeah, fuck that. Like, I mean, I don't, like, because I can, be totally fine with, like, the culture or the people and shit like that, but also be like, yeah, I don't want that literally being the way of how we govern things. Like, I don't want, yeah, it's like, let's not have, like, some sort of, like, ethno-cultural, like, social supremacy over one or the other just because, oh, we ought, think it's better. So, like, nah, fuck that.
Nothing progressive about opposing the Abraham Accords, which
okay.
promotes peace. Nothing progressive about opposing the Iron Dome, which
yeah, there is. Yeah, like, there's everything progressive about opposing the Iron Dome, because that's just the war profiteers making more profit off of the fucking militaristic expansion that Israel's doing. Wow. Who would have thought that?
Discriminate rocket fire. Right, and she did not speak to that. But what about the self-defense of Palestinians who are brutalized by Israeli forces? Do you support...
You mean some of that defensive terrorism that they're doing from Hamas? It's like... Is it guy? What the fuck? Hold on. Where is it? What? Oh my god, you're... What? Oh my god. God, Dad closed the door on you? Oh my God, I'm sorry. Well, I'm not. Well, I am. For you. My dad just closed the door on his ass. Poor Zooks. I was wondering where that noise was coming from. But yeah, it's just like, no, these Palestinians, though. You know, it's like, are you sure they ain't just Hamas, you know, and those violent terrorists that, you know, just are, you know, just attacking these advancing, aggressive Israelis who are happen to defend themselves as they aggressively infer on their space? Yeah. I see how it is. They gummy lib.
Do you support an Iron Dome for them? You know, we often hear about Israel having the right to defend itself. Do Palestinians have a right to defend themselves at all? Well, no, of course not. Israel, their government is supposed to be able to brutalize, murder innocent civilians with impunity. And the second that you condemn their apartheid state, well, you're saying that Israel doesn't have the right to exist. That doesn't even make sense. Like, I condemn the Saudi Arabia government and their genocide in Yemen. I condemn the United States' government and our wars over oil in states like, you know, Iraq and Afghanistan. Does that mean that I don't think that the United States should not exist? Does it make you inherently Islamophobic to condemn the actions of the Saudi government? Of course it doesn't. But right here, they're playing loose with the facts because there's really no defense against what the apartheid government of Israel is doing. So they have to try to obscure
because it's based on a fucking reactionary way of thinking. That's fundamentally why.
The issue by pretending as if the criticisms that are being lobbed against Israel are simply coming from a place of anti-Semitism, and that's just not true. Now, Debbie Wasserman Schultz chimed in saying the outrageous progressive litmus test on Israel by Rashida Tlaib is nothing.
Debbie, out of all the fucking Debs, you're the last motherfucker should be fucking putting your face out in front of the public. Go, like, shove yourself back in a fucking locker somewhere where you belong, you fucking little shit. Like, oh my God, I haven't heard Debbie Wasserman Schultz in fucking years. Ugh, I haven't heard that name forever. Ugh. Much of a snake, you know, backing out, Hillary and the DNC so much and being the corrupt fucking rigged elector, you know, that she was and shit. Like, fuck this cretinous bitch. Oh my God. Ugh, what a slime ball. And you got the, like, I mean, fuck what you have to say as far as I give a shit, because it's just the same bullshit. Just, like, you just have the fucking audacity to fucking, you know, try to, you know, tweet something out and show your fucking face in public, bitch. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, how are you still in office, you fucking cretin? Like, how in the fuck?
Proud progressives do support Israel's right to exist as a Jewish and democratic state, suggesting otherwise.
Oh my God, it's literally just a talking point.
Is shameful and dangerous. Divisive rhetoric does not lead to peace. Now, I just love that Debbie Wasserman Schultz, of all people, is claiming that somebody else within the Democratic Party is being divisive. Really, Debbie? Perhaps.
This is why I don't give a fuck what she has to say, because this divisive, worthless little cretin shitbag. Like, they'll always use the whole, like, how dare we be divisive, you know, when it comes to things that, you know, and, like, continue on with the status quo and shit and perpetuate it. But if there's anything that wants to try to, you know, break away from that type of shit, it's like, oh my God, why are you being so divisive? Ugh. Like, how dare you? How dare you be so divisive? We, you know, let us, you know, just, you know, correct you by being very divisive and basically, you know, cutting you out from everything. Because fuck you. It's just like, the same people that don't want to be divisive yet are acting very divisively when it comes to various issues that seem to be against their interests. Oh, wow. Curious.
Messenger for this, okay? This is the individual who, in her capacity as DNC chair, sabotaged one of the candidates because she wanted her friend Hillary Clinton to win the 2016 Democratic Party primary so she could get a job at the White House. But that's, you know, neither here nor there. Like, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is one of the most corrupt members of Congress, just period. And yet she's claiming, oh, no, you can't claim that we're not progressive if we don't condemn Israeli apartheid. You're not progressive, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Somebody who's progressive, first and foremost, they, of course, reject Israeli...
Trigger warning. Come on, dude. Haven't seen her face in years. Jesus, she ain't looking better.
So don't...
She still looks like a fucking shriveled up fermenting potato.
From the payday industry. the fact that they're coming out and they're angry that she's claiming, Rashida Tlaib is claiming that you can't be progressive and support apartheid is just hilarious. They take it as like a personal offense. Oh, she's saying that I can't be progressive. Well, I'm incredibly progressive. No, you're not. Stop pretending. Like, I don't understand why you have to uphold this facade that you're progressive. You're not progressive. Who cares? Like, it's just the label. And it's just like anyone who purports to be progressive and supports human rights, you cannot support this system of oppression. That's not to say that you believe that Israel shouldn't exist, of course, but it's saying that this system of governance...
I mean, honestly, I probably would question judgment just a little bit, especially considering the background and the premise of the whole idea of Israel as a nation state in itself.
Subject Palestinians to human rights abuses, that can't be tolerated. You have to end apartheid in order for liberty for Palestinians. Now, if you don't believe that Israel is an apartheid state, let me direct your attention to an Amnesty International report released on February 1st of this year, where they described Israel's apartheid against Palestinians as a cruel system of domination and a crime against humanity, with Amnesty Secretary General stating clearly, "Our report reveals the true extent of Israel's apartheid regime, whether they live in Gaza, East Jerusalem, and the rest of the West Bank, or Israel itself. Palestinians are treated as an inferior racial group and systematically deprived of their rights. We found that Israel's cruel policies of segregation, dispossession, and exclusion across all territories under its control clearly amount to apartheid. The international community has an obligation to act."
Yeah, no shit. I mean, honestly, it sounds like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily just sound like the fucking apartheid that was going on in South Africa. This literally sounds like some shit that was going on in, like, Warsaw in, like, 38 or, like, 39 or, well, maybe, like I said, 40 and 41. 38 and 39 is when Poland, I think it was 39 when Poland was invaded, but you get the idea. Like, absolute exclusion, like, total segregation where these people are put into fucking ghettos and fucking basically, you know, just, like, patrolled around and essentially, you know, forced to identify, you know, like, themselves as who they are and shit, to be treated as the lesser that they are and shit. Like, this shit is fucking Nazistic. Like, the Israeli state as it stands concurrently is fucking Nazistic. Like, just straight the fuck up. And I mean, and this is especially, like, you know, why, you know, a lot of people, you know, aren't necessarily fond of its right to exist, because they're essentially ran by Jewish Nazis. I mean, and a lot of them literally also defend Hitler and the Nazi regime too. Like, Netanyahu and some of his ilk have infamously have said that, like, oh, the one problem with Hitler, or at least one of his main problems at least, was that he was manipulated and persuaded by Palestinian Arabs, you know, to think that Jews were fundamentally the problem, you know, and scapegoat them instead. Like that, and so basically because, oh, they got the wrong people and were basically manipulated by Arab people, essentially, Hitler, you know, decided to go after the wrong guy, essentially, like, in their mind. So it's like, what? I mean, it's like, you can't just, like, fucking excuse that outside of, like, yeah, you're just a fucking Nazi. It's just that, oh, because you happen to be Jewish, you have to just find a way to excuse it as, like, a good thing in your mind. And also just paint it under a better light, too, by making it not seem as bad as it actually is. Because then it, you know, it kind of just undermines the real sting of that type of shit too. Considering, you know, the utter death, destruction, and utter abhorrent domination and systematic destruction of the fucking Jewish people that the Nazis did. But yeah, they just want to copy their fucking playbook. But just do it for Arabs. So it's like, oh, well, we hate that the Nazis did that to us, but hey, we're cool with that for literally just Arab people though. So we'll just, you know, copy their playbook. Luckily, we still have some of those documents and stuff from the war that Grandpappy sent, you know, from over here.
I want to explain how Palestinians as a people are treated as a threat by Israel's government, with a sustained effort by the Israeli government to control their movement and decrease their presence in Israel. It is
just kind of like how they did in Germany.
described Israel's apartheid system as one of explicit systemic discrimination, which blocks Palestinians from leasing on 80% of Israel's land. Bedouin villages that are unrecognized by Israel are cut off from water and electricity. This affects nearly 70,000 people, not to mention how Palestinians are disproportionately left out when it comes to the allocation of state resources, with COVID aid being just one of the most recent examples. On top of that, Palestinians are displaced as the government seizes their homes and or demolishes them. Their freedom of movement is heavily restricted. I mean, there's a reason why Nelson Mandela's grandson called Israeli apartheid one of the worst forms of apartheid ever, and he's following in the footsteps of his grandfather, Nelson Mandela, who called for Israel to withdraw from occupied Palestinian territory, noting how they were being oppressed by the Israeli government. So let's be very clear about this.
Honestly, I didn't realize that Nelson Mandela's son is, basically kind of following in his footsteps a little bit. That's awesome. I mean, like, just saying that this shit's apartheid isn't even fucking stinging it hard enough. Because, that, like, 90% of that shit was literally just shit Nazis did to Jews. Like, just straight up, during World War II. Like, outside of the gas chambers and shit. Like, that's the only thing that the Israeli apartheid is basically missing, and they essentially would basically be lockstep with what the Nazis were doing to the Jewish people in World War II. Like, as soon as they start doing that shit, then, yeah, it's like, yeah, they're basically like a little baby Nazi state. Like, just straight up. And I got no problem calling them that, because it's just what the fuck they are. I mean, and to claim that in itself would be anti-Semitic would be, honestly, in my mind, fucking offensive, considering that a lot of the heads of the government fucking excuse the actual fucking Nazi regime from history and try to whitewash their shit. So, fuck you. Like, because that type of shit's just fucking gross.
Bigoted Islamophobic Democrats like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Jerry Nadler, Richie Torres are trying to do is conflate any and all criticism, legitimate criticism, mind you, of the Israeli government with...
And also enable and basically just endorse Nazistic actions against a fucking demographic and a group of people, systemically in totality.
Because that's the only thing that they have. You can't actually argue with Rashida Tlaib on the merits, because it's very clearly a system of apartheid and oppression and abuse. So what they do is they claim anti-Semitism.
I mean, this is also another reason why, especially a lot of people on the left say cut a lib bleeds a fascist. This is one of the main reasons for it. It's because a lot of these libs will just defend outright fascist regimes with their fucking bleeding heart, with their little liberal bleeding hearts, because, oh, how dare you decry, this graceful democratic state.
Weaponizing identity politics to silence critiques. And that's dangerous because it diminishes actual anti-Semitism, which is dangerous and must be opposed by everyone. But when you're taking money from pro-Israel, anti-Palestinian organizations, this is the only argument that you can make. You have to try to shut down criticism by any means necessary. So this is why you see them purposefully misrepresent Rashida Tlaib's argument by saying, oh, you're calling it apartheid? That means you don't want Israel to exist, when that's not what she's saying. If you actually were confident in your beliefs, you'd grapple with the substance, but they're not. They're just saying what they want to say, or what they...
Well, they're not saying what they want to say. They're saying what AIPAC and a lot of the war profiteers in the military-industrial complex want them to say, because they're puppets. That's it.
To shut down criticism. Now, I think it's really important that we bring in Jewish voices here, so I want to leave you with the late, great Michael Brooks, who had the clearest, most perfect response to this issue here. Take a look.
Are you not concerned about the binary between either condemning Israel entirely...
Man, I miss Michael Brooks.
Being, like, also a stance that a lot of, like, very strong and notorious anti-Semitic people agree with, versus, like, seeing this as more of a complex issue where it is wrong what's going on, and that there's also a way to do this that Israel still exists and is supported?
So it's not a complex issue. That's the big thing. It's super simple. There's one group that has enormous power. It's the most powerful country in the Middle East. It's backed by the United States. It acts on another population of people with total impunity and is never held accountable for anything. So there's no symmetry in the relationship, period. And just as like a thought experiment, IDW people, if we know that if somehow a population of Jewish refugees ended up in West Bank and Gaza, and an Arabic government in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv had an open air prison in in Jewish Gaza, which they bombed with white phosphorus, they killed civilians indiscriminately, and they had no provisions for medicine. They had an embargo that blocked food, that the electricity wasn't running, that there was an over 48% unemployment rate, life expectancy and malnutrition statistics were horrifying. One of the major policymakers in this hypothetical Arabic-Palestinian state said, we need to put those Jews on a diet. In the West Bank, there was another Jewish area where there was a little bit more autonomy, but there was regular Arabic settlements where they pulled up the Jewish farmers' foods, they terrorized them with rocks, the security forces broke children's bones, and they couldn't drive their own roads. We'd all have no problem understanding what that was. So there's nothing complex about it. The second part of your question, it's a pure asymmetry relationship. And the question is rights or not. So that's it. It's not complicated. The second part of your question, at this point, there's always going to be crackpots who are anti-Semitic who condemn Israel. That's not what drives the movement, particularly in the United States. If you work around most people who are concerned with this issue, it's actually populated with a lot of Jewish people. The real question we have to ask is, why is it that AIPAC is hosting an information minister for Slobodan Milosevic? Why is it that there's relationships between the Israeli government and far-right parties in Europe? Why is it that Benjamin Netanyahu's son is posting borderline alt-right memes? Why is it that Israel is an alt-right state, even though it is from the descendants of the victims of one of the greatest crimes in history? That's a serious question, and that's inseparable from the racism of the project, which goes back to the first part that we have to solve.
Yeah.
Thank you. Shalom.
Oh, dude, I miss Michael Brooks. Dude, he was such an eloquent speaker, dude. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely not wrong whatsoever. Well, no, was. Man, it was shitty news hearing when Michael Brooks passed and shit. When pretty much like every lefty commentator heard of it and made a video about it. It's just like, fuck. Really put me down in dumps, because I loved watching his show. Like, it was one of the shows I would watch frequently. Because especially as like a socialist leftist speaker, like, he was really like such a intelligent and eloquent speaker, and especially when talking about the history of a lot of different things when it came to things like apartheid and shit like that. Fuck you, Strokes. I think that's what it was. I think he passed away for a stroke. Or like a heart clot or something like that. Been at least a couple years now. Here. So what else on Tibia? Let's see what else. There were protests. Massa Amini's death was rally. Pity Senator Spotlight. Oh, dude, I'm loving so many of the different videos coming out of this shit with Iran right now. I don't know if you've seen any, but like there's been a few that I saw on Public Freakout of like some of these protesters going after some of these cops. And these cops are basically just literally getting the fucking shit curb stomped the fuck out of. And it is just so beautiful. Like, these people are not putting up with any shit. But, I know there's honestly, like, already been, like, severe reactions by the fucking cops over there, too, where they're doing, like, fucking, shooting live rounds in the crowds, and fucking, already killed a couple people from them, too, and shit. Let's see. Is there actually any, some of the videos I was talking about in here? You know what? I could probably try to find some of these. Because I know I read that there were. because maybe there might be some more too. Come on, Reddit, pull yourself up. Pull yourself by your bootstraps, Reddit. Oh wait, what the fuck? Wait, hold on. Before I try to find some of that, what is this? Trumpist curses at KKK members. What the fuck? A Trump supporter cursing out Klan members? Based? Question mark? Like, what the fuck? Is there any comments that might maybe, I guess not really. Here. I am certainly confused. What is this dude wearing? Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Oh my dude, that beer belly tank top wearing son of a bitch in the background. Holy shit.
Put you on the fucking news to make us look like shit. And if the cops wasn't here, I would fight every fucking one of these right now. Every fucking one of these. Believe me, I would. I don't care if I got my ass whooped. I would knock the fuck out of one of y'all. I swear to God, I would. They're racist. They're white supremacists. They're white supremacists. Do not deal with them. They're white supremacists. They're white supremacists. Ideology of the world. You hate blacks. You hate Mexicans. You hate Asians. White.
Well, I mean, hey, I'm not disagreeing whatsoever. I'm just like, I'm just kind of a little bit confused because it's like, I mean, aren't y'all kind of telling that to yourselves too a little bit?
You need toilet paper? Take it from us. I'm so sick of you guys making real Americans that like Trump and like patriotism bad. We're sick of it.
Well, okay then. I wish we got, you know, a pan over to what the Klansmen look like. I wish we were able to see them looking all like, you know, just with their heads down and shit. That's what I imagine. I imagine they have their heads down like, oh, no one likes us. Just like, oh, I guess no one likes us anymore. Let's see if there's more about this. I want to try it because here's some. A little woman walks towards the police in Iran with her headscarf in her hand, chanting death to Khamenei. Oh, an old lady? Dude, hell yeah. Based. Nice. Wait, what the fuck? I was just going on vacation. What the fuck? There's like a whole loop going on. Holy shit. What the fuck? All in Turkey? Huh? Wait, yeah, wait. It's all going to Turkey. What the fuck? What's going on here? Fight or flight response. What? Huh? What's going on here? Like, there's a whole fat loop. And the loop is, and they're all like, oh, they're also like Armenia too or some shit? Georgia or whatever the fuck? I guess it just kind of shows like how limited they are to where they can go, it looks like, or something. Soon to be emptiest country in the world. Here, I know there has to be some. I wonder if there's like a whole subreddit about this. Oh shit! Here's some. Oh, dude, fuck yeah. Oh, dude, they're all charging. Dude, they're charging some motherfuckers. Oh, dude, that's awesome. Definitely gonna give that a good old like. Taking a country back. Iranian women burn their hijabs after a 22-year-old. Yeah. Nice. See some of this. Yeah, she's doing a little dance to get that going. Man, these chicks are happy, dude. Fuck yeah. Dude, hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. Elderly man bravely fighting against Iranian anti-riot vehicle. What? You gotta see this. Oh damn, dude! Look at this old man. Dude, awesome. He's right up against it. He's like, "Fuck you sons of bitches." Dude, fucking awesome old man, bro. Dude, I gotta see that again. Yeah. That's awesome. Dude, you go, dude. Fuck yeah. He's like, I still got some youth in me. I'm gonna use it to chuck this shit at you, you pigs. Dude, that's fucking awesome. Oh, dude. Yeah, there's a lot more. Looks like farther I go down here. Let's see this. Oh, dude, they got that car flipped. They got that piggy car flipped and burning. Oh, dude, this is the shit I love to see, dude. Oh, man, too bad some of these are so short. Yes, you rise, beautiful people. Random people making special forces run away. Special forces, too? Oh, dude, this is fucking... Dude, these people. I love it. Oh, they're in a bus. Oh, shit, they're smashing windows. Yes! Fuck it up! Oh, dude, we got... dude, that deserves a replay, too. Oh, my God, these are too fucking good. Oh, I'm loving these. Oh, these are just beautiful. Oh, you not want to play now? Oh, do you not want to play for me now? Oh, do we only get that one time? Come on. Don't tease me like that. I want one more. One more. That's all I want. Just one more viewage. No, I don't think so. Oh. Definitely gonna give this a like for sure, though. Oh. Or maybe if I... There we go. Yeah, here we go. Oh, they got the front window, too. They got it smashing the good, too. Nice. Oh, dude, that's just so good. I love it. Oh. Man, these people are not fucking around. It's just beautiful. Devastating scenes from Iran. No, here, hold on. I see the end of this FW tag, so I'm gonna do this real quick. What's going on here? Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm glad I fucking did that. Holy fuck, dude. Whoa. Are brutally beating and shooting protesters. Yep. Jesus. Yeah, I'm keeping the screen off of this. Oh yeah, that dude's just fucking dead. Yeah, he's dead. Dude, like half of these people are like, Jesus. Like half the, hey! Like some of the people that, you know, are like shown that are on the ground are just straight dead. Dude's a fucking headshot. Man, they better, so like, these people better burn Tehran to the ground. They better burn the fucking Tehran palace to the fucking ground. Look at my dog's acting up over this. Yeah, kind of get it now. Yeah, they better burn. Yeah, it's like every fucking police station and fucking morality, police administrative building and the palace in that fucking country definitely deserves to be burnt to the fucking ground. Because Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Whoa. I just like how the car's just like, I'm just gonna just casually drive by around this. Damn. Old lady was just like standing up against the whole fucking wall, and these fucking pigs weren't having any of it. She just has a sign. Of course that little fucking worthless piece of shit decided to walk up to her and just shove her. Fucking pig. Fuck you. You motherfuckers, like, the shit that you're getting right now, you fucking hogs in Iran and shit, are the least of what you deserve from these fucking people. Considering what you've been doing to them. I just went to the store and got back and you're still going, lol. Yeah, I've been checking out a lot of this fucking shit in Iran right now. Be police officer. Oh, dude, I know this clip. I think there's screechy banshees in this one, though. Oh, no, there isn't. Oh, wait, no, this is actually not in Iran. This is something else. Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Oh, damn, he stumbled. Oh, shit, this cop's stumbling. Oh, shit. Oh, damn. Damn, dude, he was actually fucking that cop up a little bit. The other guy literally had to come in, get the taser, and just get him with the gut tase, dude. I mean, you know what? I'll give the other cop that. Like, he didn't just go in to immediately beat the fuck out of him. Just like, alright, you know, I'm gonna let them have their little back and forth. He, like, I mean, he didn't immediately come in. Like, it was like at least 20-something seconds of him just like, I'm gonna see how this plays out. And once he realized, oh, my boy kind of getting fucked up, alright, I better grab the taser. You know, he kind of ran in, came in with the gut, like, you know, gut tase and shit. I mean, that was honestly kind of a funny little interaction. Protests in Moscow and St. Petersburg today have grown pretty large. People chanting no war. Damn, they're still fucking protesting out there in Russia. Well, good on them. Let's see some of this. Oh, it's not too much, so. Fuck yeah. I like how it's significantly more peaceful than the Iranian protests. Here, let's just kind of skip some of these other public freakouts. Maybe we'll check out some of these other ones later. Alright, protesters in Iran supporting each other versus other Russians. Oh. Oh yeah, dude, the left video's great. Dude, the Iranian cop over there on the left is getting beaten the fuck out of, dude. Look at him. Oh, dude. Of course, you know, no one on the right, you know, like, no one on the right is helping out. But Iranian people on the left are all like, hey, a cop is down. Everyone, get him. Piggy down, get him. Somebody ran over our government jackals. Iran prawns. Oh, I want to show it, but it is an NSFW one, so I'm going to take it down really quick. I'm assuming Jackals is the cops. Oh no! There are bikes. Oh wait, are they? Oh wait a minute. No, they were I mean, I'm seeing bikes, but oh no, they're cops. Yeah, jackals are their cops. That's what they call cops over there. Jackals. We call them pigs here. Or hogs. Hogs are pigs, but I guess over there is jackals. But yeah, they all got ran over and it all looked like they were all pretty fucked up. I mean, there was a bunch of people over them too, so I couldn't really tell. Iranian police fly kicked while trying to take a teenage protester. Oh, damn! Oh, shit! Damn! Shit, son! Hold on, we gotta play that one back. Boom! Oh my god, he just launched him, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. Came out of nowhere with the BAM! It just launched him like 10 feet. Just holy shit. One more time. Oh my god. Boom! Oh, you jackal, you. Get fucked. And they gangbang him, dude. Fucking gang stomping his ass. Oh. Beautiful. Oh, dude, I love shit like this. This shit's just, oh, man. I love it. Possesses the streets, just taking them over and shit. For having an I doubt this is in fucking Iran, but what is this? His parents are being by Hindu right-wing mob. Oh, so this is in India. Well, wow. Nice job, India. Well, more like, nice job, fucking far-right piece of shit that run India, enabling and advocating shit like that. Riot police in Iran deliberately caused property damage and horror among civilians. It's not a scene from an action movie. This is what's happening. What's going on here? These people are entering a building. This is interesting music choice for this. Oh shit. Well, there's them. There's the jackals. So they're just purposely breaking the windows, because fuck it. We can't get in, so we're breaking the windows instead. No, listen, no customers getting weapons is hard. Oh, I'm sure they could probably procure a few of them from the police. I'm sure the Iranians have their methods of getting guns from the cops there, right now. Because once you no longer recognize the authority of your government, like, at that point, you're essentially gonna fucking basically, pretty much at that rate, you know, not give a fuck about what the laws are. So, I'm sure you have your methods and means. That dude, that pig with the flying egg kick, I know, dude. It's fucking great. Recognize the authority of Igna. Hey. There. Gotta get a couple errands going for rest of my little evening, I think, y'all. All that fun shit. Man, I got like at least a couple things I need to deal with. Need to hit a PetSmart. Then, well, first I need to get my check, get paid, and then hit the PetSmart. Then hit Sportsman. Get a little Sportsman. Kind of get a little bit more ammo for shooting either tomorrow or Saturday. Bring it back later. Oh, I'll call it. So, and after that, I think, what else? I feel like I got something else I need to do too, between that shit. I feel like I do. Maybe it's like a side mission that I'm just like, and I was, oh, yeah, it is a side mission. Just getting some socks. Because I always like the last two pairs, or two batches of socks I got happened to also be like the same time my roommate has. So I think our like socks have been just kind of got mixed up a little bit because of that. So I'm definitely gonna need to get, you know, some more that are more like obviously mine. Because I'm just like, damn. And also, the last time I got some fucking a free pair of socks at the dispo, my dog chewed them. So now there's like holes at the bottom of them. It's like it's like this little turd. So now he has my weed socks. Yeah, you. Yeah, look at you. You're ridiculous sometimes, you know that? This is a silly little boy. Zukop's not a turd, he's a precious good boy, does no wrong. Well, I said he can be a turd. He's not a turd, he just can be one sometimes. Gosh. Oh, I was thinking of maybe getting spray cans. I don't remember what the other thing was. Because I was thinking about maybe spray painting the gun a little bit. I won't probably do that anytime soon, but just at least have it. But also, I kind of want to do that for our stuff. Straight guys are stuck on a bomb, but no, dude. Well, I think having like that versus like a is a little different. Because you don't like cup a bong. You like do that. You don't like try to wrap your lips around the damn thing. Anyway, I'll be back later tonight, though. So, all is for the meantime. Peace out, and I should be back.